Hello, librarians, teachers on the library team, student librarians who may be watching, Peace Corps volunteers, parent volunteers, and all the other amazing people who have a vested interest in developing and sustaining your school's library. Welcome! This librarian training workshop is for you. It is designed to equip you and give you the tools you need to run your school's library well. You are valuable. Being a librarian for your school means that you are the gatekeeper of your school's book collection. That means it's up to you to make those books accessible to the students at your school. You are the connector between students and books. We have witnessed that when students connect with books, magic happens. Their imaginations expand, their creativity grows, and their academic success increases. Books inspire hope, ambition, dreams. Books teach and educate and empower. When students know where the books are and what books are available to them, they begin to take ownership of their own learning. When students start to know and trust that their school library will be open for them to browse the books, check them out, and then check them back in to get another book next week, their confidence in learning and being able to find the answers on their own grows. They won't have that trust, confidence, or consistency without you. The objectives of this workshop come from the library manual supplied to your school by Hands Across the Sea in a pink binder. But if you don't have one or can't find one at your school, it is free for you to download from our website at handsacrossthesea.net. Just go to the Hands Programs for a drop-down menu to appear and just click Class Program, which will bring you to an overview page. Scroll halfway down to the page and then to step number 2 to click on the Hands Across the Sea Library Manual for primary schools. This brings you to the library manual page where you can download it for free here. Workshop objectives. Number 1, keep the library open and the books accessible to all students and teachers at the school. Number 2, what library time looks like. Number 3, how to manage the check-in and check-out system, as well as how to complete the book borrowing record chart for your school each week. Number 4, how to make your library inviting. Number 5, how to do a read aloud with students. Number 6, what the terms shared reading, guided reading, and independent reading mean, and how to select books for these activities. Number 7, an overview of literacy activities that you can do with your students. Number 8, how to organize the book collection and help students find books easily. Number 9, starting and maintaining a student librarian program at your school. And number 10, how to get more teachers, parents, and your community more involved with your school's library. Let's start with keeping the library open and the books accessible to all students and teachers at the school. If the library is not open, the books are not accessible. Your number 1 priority is to keep the library open so that the books are accessible. Is the library accessible for teachers and students? How could the library be kept open during break times and lunchtime? How can you make that happen every day? What are some creative ways to making the library open more often? I witnessed at one primary school in Dominica that as soon as the 10 a.m. bell for break time rang, students ran out of the classrooms and headed straight for the library. They knew it would be open, and they utilized that time to browse the book collection, check books in and out, and also found quiet places around the library to silently read by themselves. When I talked with this young man, Glenn, he told me that this happens every day. And since they rotate the football field between the older boys and the younger boys throughout the week, He likes to come into the library to read on the days he's not kicking the football around during his break time. Another girl at the same school I spoke to was just finishing her snack outside the library door, and she explained to me that she just finished the book she was reading that morning and was so glad her library was open during break time so that she could turn it back in and get another book before her grades timetabled library time scheduled for the end of the week. She told me that she'd have nothing to read for 3 whole days if she had to wait for her class's library time on Friday. So the fact that the library was accessible for her during break time and lunchtime helped her keep reading throughout the entire week. How can you encourage more students and teachers to visit your library? How can you inspire more students and teachers to borrow books? Those are questions that you should be asking yourself on a regular basis and talking with the teachers and students at your school about. Often, when we get feedback from others about what their ideas are, we expand our own creativity and find solutions. So come in, we're open. Another big question to be asking is, are all the classes coming to the library weekly? Is there 30 minutes every week when students in their grade level have a time when they come to the library to check in and check out books every single week? We call this library time. Library time is a timetabled activity in which the teacher takes or sends the students to the library to check in and check out books once a week. This is something that either your school principal can put together or your entire school staff can create together. Library time can be integrated into the language curriculum block, so teachers don't have to stress out that this is something extra in their school day. It is so important to incorporate library time into a weekly timetable, because if not, the majority of students will not know about the books in the library or really have a chance to check them out and read them. As teachers, we have to structure specific activities that will model the ideas we want our students to learn and begin practicing. Students will never read the books in our school libraries if they aren't shown and invited in each week to do so. It is the teacher's responsibility and yours as the librarian to ensure that library time is taking place each week. Teachers need to recognize that if their class is timetabled to go to the library every week on Mondays at 9:30 a.m., that they need to plan their lessons around the 30 minutes that their students go to the library that day. You as the librarian can check in with teachers to remind them about what day and time they are timetabled for. I know one librarian in Antigua who physically walked to the classroom door of the teacher's class who had library time at that time that day to remind her to pause her teaching and take a break for her students to have their scheduled library time. The librarian knew how busy the teacher was, so she offered to walk the students from the classroom to the library to help the teacher out. This gives the teacher a much-needed break from teaching. Once the students learn the routines of library time, very little is required on the part of you or the teacher because the students know what to do every single time they come to the library. You as a librarian can incentivize teachers to send or bring their students to the library by sending teachers a quick note of encouragement, letting your principal know how much you have appreciated the consistency of a teacher's responsiveness about library time, or making an effort to let those teachers know that the library time is their time to get planning done or grading done or get their copies made. Principals themselves can incentivize library time as well, but you can make a huge difference just by staying present and being the friendly reminder of how important library time is. A successful library is one that has all the students in the school coming to the library at least once a week and checking in and checking out books on a regular basis. It doesn't matter about how organized or pretty your library looks. What matters the most is, are the students coming and are the books being checked out by everyone? Here at Hands Across the Sea, this is our #1 goal. We want to support you in all the other details to make this one thing happen.